Hi, I'm Emily Diamond and I'm the patron of reading for David Young Community Academy, and I'm doing these little webcasts about the books that the group book we're reading, and I have been reading them as well, and so I thought I would just do this as my contribution to the discussions that you'll be having. So the book that I'm going to be talking about in this little cast is Mockingbird by Catherine Erskine. And I'd never heard of this author before. She's an American author, and I don't think I would have ever actually ended up reading one of her books if it hadn't been for the book group. So I'm really grateful that you all suggested it and you all wanted to read this, because I really enjoyed this book. So the book is about a girl called Caitlin, and she's living with Asperger's syndrome. So she has a very interesting perspective on things, and she's actually really funny as well. She's a really funny narrator, and some of the things that she says to people are really funny, and you kind of think, oh, I wish I could be like that. So she's dealing with some really difficult issues and a quite horrible thing that's happened to her in her past, and the book is a lot about that and how she copes. And although it sounds like that might be quite, oh, maybe it's not a bit depressing or something like that, but it's not. It's a really hopeful book, it's a really funny book, and it's really easy to read, and I read it really straight through really quickly, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So the things that I thought were really interesting about it were her perspective and the way that she sees things. Now, the author actually has a daughter who is living with Asperger's syndrome, so I'm sure she does know a lot about this. But the thing that I thought was really fascinating was that actually I think all of us feel this way sometimes, that the other people that are in our lives, they're doing things for reasons that we can't really comprehend, and that perhaps the rules that other people are using or the way that our friends are behaving, it all could seem really confusing sometimes. And I think everyone has moments, or even, you know, for me it can be whole days where I feel the same way that Caitlin feels about life. So I thought she was a great narrator, and the way that she dealt with things was really interesting. And I also thought what was interesting was the way that people were saying to her, you should be friends with this person, or she decides that she needs to be friends with someone, and then it turns out to be the people that she doesn't expect. And I think that life can be like that as well. So I hope you have a really interesting time talking about this, because I thought there were lots of really fascinating things in this book. Now, I also thought, for if you have enjoyed this book and you want some other books to read that might be like this. Now, one of the things that they mention in this book is a film called To Kill a Mockingbird, and that's actually based on a book of the same name. It's the To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and this is a fantastic book and really worth reading if you can. Now, it's written a long time ago, and that might put you off, and you might think, oh, it's really old-fashioned, and it is written in a bit of an old-fashioned style, but it's an amazing book, and I read it when I was at school, and it really blew my mind. And it's about all the same kinds of things, about prejudice and how people see things and how they see other people and don't think about what that person is really like, and there's some really amazing bits in it. So that's a book I'd really thoroughly recommend. And another one that I think is has a narrator with the same kind of perspective as Caitlin is a book called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time by Mark Haddon. And this time the narrator is a 14-year-old boy, but he also is living with Asperger's, and his point of view about things is really interesting too. And it's a really good book. It's got twists and turns, and it's really fun to read, and I think you'd thoroughly enjoy it. And then I thought, well, if you enjoyed the style of this book and the way that it's been written, then there's another great American author who I thoroughly recommend, and her name is Rebecca Stead. And she has written 2 books that are available in this country, and one of them is called When You Reach Me, and it's a mystery thriller, and it's got loads of curious things going on in it, and it's written in a really easy style, but it'll really keep you guessing all the way through about what's going on. It's got a fantastic ending. And another book that she's written is called Liar and Spy, and that is also about the way we think about what people are like without really knowing them. And it's a really fantastic read. So those are my recommendations for if you enjoyed Mockingbird, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because I absolutely loved it. And thank you for introducing me to this book, because I would never have read it otherwise. So I hope you have a great time discussing it, and bye for now.